Namaskar. Welcome to Women's Special Express. Very happy new year to all of you. As 2021 brings us new hope, life, and vaccine, again we are leaning in for New Year resolutions to stay fit and healthy as always. The whole 2020 year has got us a big lesson, and 2021 opens up with true health, fitness, and lifestyle resolutions for everyone. On this whole New Year resolution note, we are happy to welcome today's guest, who is Limca Book Award winner as India's female pioneer in bodybuilding field, recognized for Adishakti Award for breaking all taboos in men-dominated fields. She has beauty, brain, and brawn. She created her own paths and peaks, which was not even imagined by any. Most admiring fact is she is artist by head and heart and encouraging fitness coach. She's a great philanthropist to talk to and a motivational friend to seek as a mentor for. Let's welcome this energetic, artistic, lovely soul, Sunila Shringarpure-Pradhan, on our show today. Namaskar, Sunila ji.
Namaskar to all my
Happy.
viewers, and thank you for giving this opportunity for me to come in and talk to you about fitness.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm honored to have you on my show actually as a guest. When I came to know from one of my friend, Shraddha Tai Jogrekar, that you are the one who had a Limca Book Award, who was presented in the Surbi show and whatnot. When I went through your profile, I was like, wow, that's marvelous. We are really honored, and especially when the new year opens, at that point of time, we got you as a right mentor on our show. Thank you for coming in.
Awesome. I'm glad I'm here, and hopefully I kind of help some more people out there, for some more women, inspire more folks to get into fitness as well. So thank you so much.
So, Surilaji, it's a very interesting story of yours. We all know we will definitely get into your story. But as all of us have the New Year resolution, especially people like me, every New Year resolution is like, okay, this year we are hitting gym every day. This year we are doing 20, 30 minutes of cardio or, some diet sort of resolutions, which may last for 3, 4 months. But as I know, for you, it's been like more than 2 decades. You have a different journey altogether. And now that you are as on a fitness coach path, we are definitely interested to know what's your New Year resolution.
So I would say my New Year resolution hasn't changed in so many years, I would say. It remains the same for fitness as per every year,
Wow.
just increasing and making my better self the next day, next year. That's what it stays. And I think it's so fitness is like a lifestyle to me. So resolutions do not make any sense in a way. Um, the only resolutions that completely make sense would be something that you want to achieve even something further, or you want to achieve your highest goals, if you want to get into the next levels of at corporate levels, things like that. But for fitness, it's like making your own best self every single day is a resolution, and New Year's is not an exception. Rather, New Year is the time again to make it even stronger and make sure that you are really following that every single time.
Nice, nice. So that's a new definition of New Year resolution. Interesting to know that. So as this year opens, and when I see your Facebook page where you have the fitness, the coaching, or the mentoring, and the Facebook live sessions, so many things that are on. In fact, your new boot camping sessions. So what are those exactly?
So I would say this is like, as I say, fitness is my passion, my lifestyle. And I saw a lot of interest in a lot of my friends or even indirect friends. They really wanted to get some guidance on fitness. And eventually I started doing these in more personal sessions with them, first of all, because having an IT job and having, responsibilities at home. I think it was really tough to even add another dimension to it.
Mm.
But given the fact that fitness is something very close to my heart, um, I think I started doing that over the weekends to really train, at least few folks of to few smaller groups of people,
Mm.
and also giving individualized sessions. So right now what I'm doing is I'm completely taking this opportunity while in the COVID. We're working from home, so I'm offering home programs where they can work similarly like this as we are doing in Zoom sessions.
Oh,
We can work online together, and I have their personalized plans. I have their meal plans. There are boot camps that I conduct as group classes. Then there are kids classes as well, because now that a lot of people have seen the benefit out of it, they like my sessions, so they want their kids to start doing as well, because they're sitting in front of TV all day long, or front of some kind of laptop or anything, for their schools, or things like that. So they just want to get something active in their lifestyles as well. So I have started kids sessions, and I think that's kind of really motivating for me as well, because I see that people have see the value in it and also are liking those sessions. So I do have Facebook Live sessions as well, where I like to talk about fitness all the time, and it's like, again, as I say, it's my favorite topic, and I live fit lifestyle, and that's just a lifestyle that I've picked up. So anything and everything for it. And recently I started writing some articles, which is like not there yet. I do not get the time yet, but articles is something that I'm writing and exploring further to start sharing with a lot of people again.
wow.
So
Wow, that's simply awesome to understand that you're doing so many things apart from, what you have to do in your home and then work and everything. And if I know correctly, you're working in the IT tech industry. So handling work and doing all these on weekends or whichever spare times you're getting, I think you are doing a fabulous job. When I look at your boot campings and also your Facebook post, I see a lot of sports you admire and endorse for, inclusive of yoga. It's very rare to understand that a true bodybuilder who is doing a weightlifting training and boot camping, the intense workout styles, is also embracing the yoga lifestyle. So, what are the different type of exercises that one can get onto? And in their the whole life cycle, like in different ages, what are the best exercises that one should be working out to stay fit and healthy?
So I'm going to touch upon, 2 points maybe here. Is like, one thing is, they say you kind of work hard for your body, and that kind of sustains you for the rest of your life, right? And be it yoga or be it weight training or any kind of exercise, but it has to be again consistent and lifelong. We eat lifelong. We drink lifelong. We sleep lifelong. We do all the other things lifelong. We have to do this lifelong. All right. So, that said, so there are different forms of exercises that everybody does, and there is a reason why I like the combination of, it has to be a holistic combination for your s- uh, body. And weight training is one way to keep your muscles strengthened. All right. And that is the best part that I like about it is, as you strengthen your muscles, your bone structure also becomes stronger, and your aging becomes slower. It's kind of slowed down aging process as well, and that is what doctors are also recommending these days, and they have been recommending for a while. So you do it from that perspective. um, Yoga is other style of exercise, and I don't know whether how many people know about this, but a lot of yoga poses, they actually help your internal systems to be stronger as well. Rather, they are focused for your internal organs to be stronger and capable. And the other thing what yoga helps is your stretching. All right. So you're strengthening your muscles, but at the same time, you're you should be able to stretch your muscle with nice flexibility. And I hear people that, oh, my this hamstring is tight, my this is tight, all that stuff. So that is kind of what you can work with yoga. And the earlier you start in your age, like whatever, 7 8 years of age, 9 years, 10 years, it's better, because I'm going to slot it out in different ways now. So these are the only two types of exercises that I talked about. And then the third one is like outdoor activities, and like walking. And people tell me like, oh, I keep on walking, but I want to kind of touch upon that point. Is walking is something that you have done when you were 10 months old, you started walking, and you're still walking. So now you should be sprinting, actually, right? We don't sit in first grade forever, right? We go to second grade, we third grade, we take our masters, bachelor's, phd, keep on doing mba. So we grow, right? So we have to grow in our exercise lifestyle as well. So that's what I mean. And so keep on doing those, different pillars of it. And I always emphasize in all my classes that there are four different pillars of exercises. One is the stretching, one is the strengthening, one is the balance, and the other is posture, basically, right? So strengthening is weight training, stretching is yoga, balance is again yoga, and the holistic view is mainly all these things kind of structure you for your nice support, and also for your nice posture, right? um, and so you can do a combination of all these. I'm going to next thing is split up into different age groups. um, as we are younger, at least till 25 years of age, you have enough energy. I would even split it halfway through till 18, 19, or even 20. Your energy levels are so high that you really want to engage your kids in some outdoor activity. I think we say that, right? We have to just get them engaged so that they can burn out that energy. What does that mean? Which means they have so much energy that you should be, putting them in very high activity sports. And what happens with that is their bodies, they get used to that, and they kind of build that strength eventually, to take them further for the next 10 years. So till the age of 35, what happens is whatever you have earned so far, that stays with you in a maintenance mode. All right. So while in that maintenance mode, you can still do something or the other here and there, not too serious. It's okay. But what happens after 35 is starts becoming complicated. Is that's when you are really needing that strength, what you gained so far, to continue for your next levels of age groups. All right. And especially they say that, right, like after every 5 10 years, their calcium depletion starts happening for women, men, both, right? So that is where you have to take care of all these four aspects for your body. And one of the main important aspects I forgot to tell is the food. Make sure you eat the right food, clean food. Do not eat greasy stuff. Do not eat something which is, just satisfying your tongue. Like, start making good healthy choices. So that will keep your life going a little bit smoother. um, because at the same time, after 35, your calcium starts depleting, your muscles start, losing strength. After 45, something else happens. After 50, something else happens. So you don't want that drastic progression in your body. You can slow down that process, and while doing these exercises, that's what exactly does, it slows down the process. And that's when we see people, right, we're saying, oh my god, he's that old, but he doesn't look that old. Why? Because they have slowed down that aging process for their body as such. So it's very important to, keep this in mind, so you can incorporate all these exercises. And yeah, as Pranali has mentioned here, that come to my classes, or even join, ping me with your questions or anything. I'm here to help. And yeah, join for even the online sessions, FB live sessions. I get a lot of questions there as well.
When it comes down to a training part, we generally say for, just don't lift the weight unless you know how to do that. So that how to do that part comes with a good training and good guidelines part. So there where the trainer comes into the picture, many of us actually don't know the role of a trainer in this fitness lifestyle. How important it is and why one should be opting for a trainer.
So it's a very great question, actually, and I'm going to give you another example for this. Is I know I have, if I get fever, if I get cold, I know what medicine to take, right? Now,
Hmm.
because everybody's so used to it, knows it. Oh, this one, even your medical, shop wala, he can give you. But if there is something serious, you go to a doctor, right?
Hmm.
You go ask the professional. Oh, you know what, this symptom of mine, I think it is, I think I'm still sneezing and I'm coughing. I don't know whether it's COVID or is it what. You go to a doctor
Hmm.
to find out, right? To get the diagnosis done. So it's the same way. The trainer comes in that same way. Yes, you can go and do your things, but when it comes to form, when it comes to lifting weight, I always tell people do not lift weight just because you saw it on YouTube video. Just because somebody else is lifting 50 pounds and I want to do it for my ego, I cannot lift it, I can also lift 50 pounds. No, it's not about ego. When it comes to weights, it's all about your form,
Hmm.
how strong you are. And that's where the trainer really comes into picture. And I'm so glad that, a lot of people who have been now training with me, they see that value in it. And because it is very easy to, so I can tell you one example. If I ask you to lift 5 pounds weight, you don't know exactly how to lift it. Should I lift it with both hands, with like, how should I bend down from my back, or should I, do what? But if I tell you a right form posture without hurting any of your body parts, it's going to be much easier, and it's the same way. And it kind of helps different muscles of the body to be stronger at that time. And that is what weight training is all about. And we have over 300 muscles in our body, right? Can you imagine that? It's 300 plus muscles in our body. And every training that I do, it's for something particular. You're training your abs, you're training your arms, you're training your tricep, you're training your arms, shoulders, you're training your glutes, you're training your hams. So it's different, and the way you can only do it is with a technique. You can pick up any other game, right? Like, if we have the Rubik's cube, right? It has a technique. You
Hmm.
can make all the sides done, right? You can try it different ways, but there's a technique. With that technique, you can get it done. So exactly, when you have some technique and it's all scientific, that's one of the key things. And our body is all science, right?
Hmm.
So when you apply science to get things done, you get scientific results. Simple as that. So, look it from that perspective. And that's where the trainer really comes into picture.
Wow, wow, that's wonderful to understand. So, going forward, of course, everyone is interested in understanding about your story of bodybuilding. You were the first woman in India to even dream of being on the stage and do the bodybuilding show, which was a very unusual thing anybody could have thought of. I mean, most of the females would have thought about them walking on the ramp, being a part of the beauty pageant, or Miss India, Miss World, Miss Universe, all those kind of pageants they would have dreamed of. But this was a very unusual sport to take upon. How you even dreamed about it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it was gifted to me, I would say. And the reason I say that, because I was always athletic at school, and I think some people are usually athletic at school. And I was one of them, very athletic, going for inter-school competitions, representing school, I would love sports like anything. And apart from school, once you're kind of graduate, kind of move on to college life, your college life is a little different, right? You have your practicals, you're in the science stream, there's like so much work. So I was missing that piece of me who is on the ground playing sports, and like games like kabaddi and volleyball. I used to play table tennis as well, so I think I was always inclined towards athletics in a way, or some kind of sports. And I kind of really missed that while I was in college. And surprisingly, or even I would say just very fortunate, that my mom, she herself is a yoga teacher, and she has learned from the renowned BKS Iyengarji, and she trains everybody for their yoga postures and fitness from yoga perspective. And at the same time, while I was in college, she was working in one of the gyms as an instructor. And it happened to be Surya Gym, where I found my trainer, or my best coach ever. And he's like a father to me, more than a father to me. And um, sorry, I'm just kind of very overwhelmed by that fact. That so what happened is, as I started going through uh, coming to the workouts at the gym and going through my college life, I realized that the time that I had was only in the morning, which was early in the morning. But at that time, you have to consider this as you have to go back about 2 decades, in 1990s, about 3 decades, I would say. And you have to think about that, only men or boys in the gym and no girls.
Mm.
And think about it in also way, like you have to think about it in a way that even nowadays, I think probably the eve teasing and all that is less now with with boys, or that girls face. So going in that environment was really something different, I would say. But for me, as a perspective, like I felt that was like not, I wouldn't say normal, but that was kind of taken for granted. That's how it is. But my focus was only on getting fit. So when I met my coach there, Dr. Arun Datar,
Mm.
he's now 78 and he's still fit as anything and everything. But so I met him. My mom introduced me to him and told him that she has a science field that she's in, and whatnot. So we worked out timings, and they were supposedly were only in the mornings. They had a male. They would call it like what, men's batch and a woman's batch. I don't
Mm.
know whether we hear that anymore,
No.
but that's how it was: men's batch and a woman's batch. And all these guys, they would come in the men's batch, and women's batch would start only after 9 in the morning,
Mm.
because they would drop off their kids and then come back and whatnot. So that's how it was. So instead of going to the women's batch, I started going to the men's batch. And obviously, when I go to the men's batch, I start seeing all these men or boys, um, who are lifting weights, heavy weights, doing all the gym equipment. And, like sometimes I would see them posing, flexing their arms and muscles, because they are posing for, preparing themselves for a bodybuilding competition.
Mm.
So that's kind of really intrigued me. And I was little, kind of nervous as well, because I was, seeing something very different than I'd ever seen.
Mm.
But something triggered in me at that time, is I asked my coach, Arun Datarji, is this something that women do as well? I mean, I have not seen women. And he was like really surprised that I even had that question. And that's how he just kind of showed me some magazines at that time. And that was, the fitness magazines that we get here,
Mm.
right? And you have to think about this age where 90s, those magazines, international magazines, they have so much aura around it, right? They're so precious. You don't get it like very easily, right? So he showed me those magazines, and there were women, beautiful women, who had carved out their beautiful sculpted bodies,
Mm.
um, muscular definition, and I was blown away. And So that was one introduction side of it. The other side of introduction was that we used to always see the Olympic Games, right, on TV that used to come, and they used to be like early in the morning or things like that, right? It was like a very rare event, right? It's not like you have to go in that age at that time. I feel it's not like right now you have it on DVR or something like that, or even streaming, it's nothing like that. So you have to wake up in the morning. So I used to love watching all these athletes at that time. And especially, I would really admire all the calisthenics at that time, or even, and I would just see how flexible their bodies were. And I was just amazed by the whole gamut of everything what they have done so far. So I think I was always inclined, as I can say, and I saw that in everybody whoever played at that time. So I liked tennis at that time, which was like Martina Navratilova. She was like one strong woman, or even Sabatini. Like all these people, like like especially women. I think they kind of really inspired me, I would say. And that led me into this journey. So, a long answer in a way, but that's kind of was my introduction to this kind of fitness. And my coach, when he showed me those magazines, he said, you know what, women's bodybuilding is not um, famous yet, or it's not as popular as the men's bodybuilding, because when we know men's bodybuilding, we think about only Arnold and Rocky, Sylvester Stallone, right? So that's pretty much it. Because men's bodybuilding has been there for quite some time, but women's bodybuilding, when I got introduced to it, was barely 10, 12 years old. So it was really coming up. And I'm glad that these women had started it. It was mostly in the US, in Australia. Some Russians were there. But yeah, they looked at the athletic bodies very differently. And this was a way of being athletic and being structured and strong and amazing. So that's how I got introduced to it.
Wow. I mean, you got introduced, you pursued the journey with Dr. Arun Datarji, and surprisingly, you were like hiding from everyone and getting trained at that point of time. And you just showcased in one of the bodybuilding interval show. Started with aerobics and actually posed the bodybuilding styles. So why
Yeah.
that was, a thing that should be hidden, not to be exposed at that point of time? Was it really different than people would have thought of if would have mentioned, oh yes, I'm doing bodybuilding and I'm gonna do this or that. I mean, that fact something that most of us now cannot relate it even. So, on that note, I'd like to know how your parents supported, and then the entire community came together to support you and pronounced you as one of the Adishakti and give you that awards.
I think you touched upon quite a few questions here, and I'm going to try to answer one by one. First thing, I'm going to try to put together a nice explanation of how the bodybuilding shows are even today. It's nothing different. So it's completely, and since we are talking about a field where women were not there, especially in India at that time, you have to think about only men. Um, Being there, flexing their muscles, kind of pumping iron. It's very rugged, you would say, so I think I could relate to the Dangal movie that came up some time back. It was
Yeah.
really Dangal
Yeah.
in my time. So you have to kind of picturize the whole thing as any bodybuilding competition, there will be only men. And as I touched upon one of the point, like eve teasing, body shaming, things like that were done for women or girls at that time in college. And here's an opportunity where in a bodybuilding competition, a girl who is ready to come on stage to display muscles, and where Indian society has not seen any girl come up, first of all, on stage to show her muscles per se. That's itself is one of the like awe moment. The second awe moment is a girl with the muscles is a question mark or an exclamation.
Yeah.
Third is yeah, third is any woman, any girl, if she's wearing skimpy clothes, she's looked upon on something different, or she'll be kind of eyed in a very different way, which I don't think any girls like that. So, I mean, giving all these three factors, giving all these three scenarios, going on stage and showcasing this was like a serious step, I would say. And my coach didn't know how everybody will receive this information. And that was one of the key things why it was kept as a secret. He had to mentally train me, saying, Sunila, you are going to be amidst 1,000 at least bodybuilders, 1,000 people who are men. Nobody's going to be as a woman there. Maybe somebody's wife, somebody's friend, sister who is interested, whatever. But you have to think of a crowd who is all male dominated. And any woman, if any girl who is there with less clothes, think about what the crowd is going to react, right? You have to think, you have to go into that level where you are thinking from that perspective. The cheering up may not be appropriate, anything, so you have to be emotionally ready to go on stage like that. And the third thing, again, as I said, they may not like it, right? Because a girl with muscles, as you just mentioned, they could be seen for any fashion shows, right? Ramp walks. But even for ramp walks, when the girls walk down, what kind of response do you get, right? So it's even much more different, right? So anyway, so with all that said, I think he prepared me really emotionally very well. And actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I really understood what really, how complex it was. Now that I think I'm a mom now, now I think I'm like, oh my God, that was quite something. But at the age of 17 and 18, you don't think about all that stuff, right? But I think I had a great support system. I think that's something I can definitely, be very, very thankful for, because without that support system, this wouldn't have happened. My parents, they supported me to some extent, yes, because even they don't know what this field is about, right? It's pretty new to them. But I would say, as parents, now being in parents' shoes, I feel that they were so liberal. I mean, they did their homework. They did ask my coach a lot of questions, how this is going to impact her as a female body. Will she have any issues with pregnancy? Things like that, little things as a girl. And I mean, they did all their stuff. And then my dad, he was like very supportive as well. He's like, if girls are in swimming and they wear a swimming costume, that's fine. But and that sport requires to wear a swimming costume. They cannot, go in any other outfit. So if this sport requires to wear a swimsuit on the stage, be it. That's what the sport asks for. That's about it. So that thought process, that thinking, I think was a different way of perception. I think that takes a huge effort on my parents' side. And I think I'm so glad that they were so liberal and they were supportive. And last but not least, I think I should mention this, that all the guys in the gym, actually, they did not make fun of me at all.
Wow.
And the reason being, they knew what is the kind of effort that goes into bodybuilding to build a single muscle. It's hard work. It's completely hard work. It's really blood and sweat. And when they know the value of that blood and sweat, they just helped me, and then they pushed me harder to do more things. So that was even amazing. And rather, I would say that people who were not from this background, they made fun of it because they don't know. And that's not their problem, because they don't know, right? If I ask you to lift certain weights, even 10 pounds, you'll say, oh my God, this is so heavy, right? Because what I'm saying is they don't know what goes to use that 10-pound strength to build up. It takes quite some time. And frankly speaking, to another point, I would say that even for men, I think it is a little bit easier because they have the right hormones to, even build strength a little faster and quicker in a way. But for women, it's even tougher because we lack that hormone.
Yeah.
And we have to start building that hormone as we start training ourselves, and as our muscles start kind of kicking in that direction. So it's completely scientific. It is completely safe. It's really good for your aging as well because you're strengthening your body. So I can't say enough about it. I just love the sport.
Awesome. So, in the same question, I also had another question which we didn't touch upon, and that's about the Adishakti Award. Dr. Arun Datarji used to call you as your nickname at Shakti, and it was a truly Shakti. It's truly a power, but it was not just a masculine power, but it was so much emotional and so much mental strength that was there in you. When we look at any female, she's a power source. Everybody knows that she has the energy. She drives the entire home's energy and the entire universe energy. But when it came down to these kind of fields, that now they're energetic, they're showing up their muscles and standing equally with the mains. At that point of time, that support was lacking from many who didn't know what it takes. And even now, there's the same situation. This sport is still not being looked at as a sport for a woman in the similar way that the other fields may look at. So, what we should be doing as a society?
Yeah, sure. I think you touched upon the Adi Shakti, and yeah, so he would definitely call me Shakti because, again, I really hats off to my coach, to Arun Datar. He always told me that you have to look at even in animals. The female is a stronger one than the male. He would give examples of horses. He would give examples of lions. So he would say, like, the female is always a stronger amongst the two, be it physically or even emotionally. And that was very unheard of for me because I've never heard that before as I was growing up at the age of 18 and 19, right? Where everybody's like around you in a male dominated society where they show more lot of male power in different ways. That is the reason he would call me Shakti, because I had that lot of emotional strength. And I think I was, in a way, I would say, pretty adamant about what I liked and what I did not. So I always count upon what I like. I never tried to please anybody that because you like it, I'm going to do it for you. I don't think I did it for my parents as well. So, but anyway, I think so that is how, I kind of kept on going in this one. And that is one thing I would like to tell the new generation. And I think they have much more freedom to think about. But again, while making those choices, make sure that you make the right choices. You weigh in the options. There are good sides of it and bad sides of everything. So know what it is, and make sure you have like a good lifestyle or even good habits, or that will progress you and not pull you down in any way. And now I would say, in the last 10 to 12 years, there have been a lot of Indian bodybuilders, specifically women, representing from India. I'm really amazed to see all of them. When I hear their interviews, when I see their interviews, that's the only thing that they say. I want to do something different. Why only men in this area? Why they can be strong and I cannot be? So, that is the thing that kind of triggered in them, and they are much stronger. So they're representing India as well. One thing I definitely want to tell parents is, obviously all the other sports are very kind of adopted or even accepted. This is one sport which is not yet accepted as much because, again, women and muscles do not go together. That is still the concept. I still hear that all the time. But when we see actresses, when we see, people, like you see them, they lean, you see their nice toned muscles, then you want muscles, right? Look at Deepika Padukone, when you look at, say, Katrina recently, everybody's dropping down those to zero waist and those sexy abs and, that slim waist. So think about now the industry, they're looking at a different perspective for a woman. But it's not just their slim waist. Even I would say Karina, yeah, she dropped down so many dress sizes, but they are lean and they look, there's no flab, right? So I think the concept is changing, and I'm glad it's changing. One more thing is all these other sports. If you think about swimming, if you think about basketball, tennis, any other sport that you think, everybody does weight training. What they use it for is different. But we do weight training for bodybuilding to show our muscles, basically. And I just love it. It's just so beautiful. Our body is just so beautiful. It is sculpted. It is like a sculptor. If you look at it from that perspective, you will be blown away how beautiful it is. And it takes a lot of hard work. Let me tell you that way. So maybe that is another thing, is that dedication to put that hard work should be there.
Thank you, Sunila ji, for that lovely advice. We have a lot to talk, but let's take a pause here. Let's take a short break and come back your journey with the whole fitness fund us after the break.